Hello, everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. Today is the latest Andreas Pop Culture Retrospective slash review. It's on Avengers Age of Ultron, and it's for 10th anniversary today or this month. Of course, Age of Ultron, the 2015 American superhero film, of course, produced by Marvel Studios, distributed by Walt Disney Pictures, is a sequel to the Avengers, the 2012 film, and this sequel to it is the 11th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, written and directed by Joss Whedon. Of course, the film features the ensemble cast of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Irons, Elizabeth Olsen, Bob Bettany, Don Cheadle, and Taylor Johnson. James Bayer, Samuel L. Jackson, Stanley Skarsgård, Lyndon Connolly, Ezra Abba, Haley Atwell, Anthony Mackie, and of course Kobe Smulders. Now, as general, after the events of Winter Soldier, the Avengers leading an assault on a secret Hydra facility where they have located the staff that Loki used to lead the Sartari invasion slash battle of New York in the Avengers. When they secured it, they bring it back to New York. Tony Stark, aka played by Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, and Bruce Banner, aka Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo, discovered that its power source contains a blueprint for artificial intelligence, which could allow Stark to proceed with his Ultron initiative to curate a peacekeeping robots that could defend the world in peace after the Avengers should encounter another alien invasion. When Ultron, of course voiced by James Bayer, becomes conscious, however, interprets his peacekeeping instructions as he imperative to wipe out mankind. Now, everyone knows the task of bringing together the Earth's mightiest heroes took Joss Whedon into uncharted territory with the 2012's The Avengers. Despite the weight of the Marvel Cinematic Universe on his shoulders, the results were staggeringly entertaining. The task of making a sequel to that groundbreaking event film, however, being expected to deliver on par on or better results is a tiny different beast, and we will discuss that because I have to say it's a good film, but one that didn't deliver to being a great sequel to the Avengers. But it's a important film that laid the groundwork for Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and its Infinity Saga um, arc. Avengers Age of Ultron was definitely built on the bullet point takeaways of the Avengers, which are make time, space for witty banner, humor for the sake of humor to prevent the film from taking itself too seriously. Each character and story arc and independent moments and write clever action scenes with well-timed glory shots. These components are in full force in Ultron, making it enjoying the blockbuster as easy as shoving a lollipop in your mouth. Yet, Ultron is infinitely more complex than its predecessor. Number of the heroes feature barely fits into the single action figure play chess, meaning more subplots, backstory, in addition to creating a arc around the creation and life of Ultron itself, with a plot that takes the Avengers from multiple European countries like South Korea, New York, the African nations, or the South Korea, and South Korea again. Much of Ultron is a non-stop blur of pieces to the next section of the film. So, of course, I gotta say, the film has a lot of flaws and nitpicks, and let me start with that. I have a lot of negative or sort of nitpick complaints I have about this film, starting with the tone. I like to laugh, as some people do, but there is a time and place to exhibit your comedy writing skills in an action film. In Age of Ultron, it's a constant recurring and predictable theme. It's not limited to one character either. Everyone is pumping one-liner jokes as if it's expendables. Yes, most of them are not funny, but the timing of these moments are levity or horrible too. I mean, the road to independent fear of death and battle is taken away by the humor of the characters in the film. If the characters seem so relaxed and not worrying about the possibility of dying, then what expense is needed to be held by the audience? This plagued Thor: The Dark World, and the recent Phase 4 and 5 films in a bad way. It's arguably worse here. When we have comic book movies that achieve great success in this regard, good example I think is the X-Men films like X2, First Class, Logan, and Days of Future Past, or the Avengers first film, or the next installments, Infinity War and Endgame, Captain America with Soldier, or even The Dark Knight. Can you imagine at a climax of one of those movies where one of them are uh, pulling one-liner jokes as the army of their enemies or enemy taking at them, the the game charging at them, it will kill any attempts. Plus, the script, I won't say too much since it's a lot to unpack. It feels rushed and unorganized. It's similar to what Fast Seven, what I saw that film as well. There's a lot of similar vibes. Again, it's not the fact the film is 2.5 hours long and has too many characters. That isn't an excuse. Since The Dark Knight or many of the successful movies I just jumped down have navigated these theoretical obstacles. There are few completely unnecessary subplots in Age of Ultron and useless characters that I don't think do not impact the story overall. I think you can take these out and make a somewhat focused and cohesive sequel to one of the biggest movies of all time. But now, let's get into some of the problems, I gotta say. Now, let's get into the characters because the villain himself, Ultron, is the big highlight of the film. Is he another massive letdown in the Marvel's already growing catalog of mishandled villains? No, but I put him in one of the Marvel catalogs of interesting characters they introduced but haven't done much with him after the film. Ultron is the villain of the film that has been getting a lot of hate, which I don't understand, but I could get why as well, because Ultron was great in this film. He's not a great villain, as mean he will never beat Loki or Thanos in that regard. He was very human. He has so many different characteristics that make him a great character, but many viewers wanted him to be menacing and scary due to the marketing and teaser trailers that we saw that indicate a much darker sequel. That's all. But all that they will accomplish if they went for a more menacing and scary serious version of Ultron, it will be another dull MCU villain like maybe Rowan or a good example, Manekith in Thor Dark World. However, what Marvel does great is Marvel's done a great job of making their superhero movies about about the title characters more than the villains. In both team films now, the Mech Guy is a step up from their solo film villains and have been phenomenal. And I think Ultron is a good villain overall. That's how and that discussion. Both villains does deliver to both the films the true threats they need. But here, Marvel does a great job of making their characters really great, the heroes. And let me start with that because the new characters in this film, I love what they did with that. With those new characters, Vision, how they did it is incredible. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are a great addition to it. They're amazing as well. Wanda's psychic powers are much more complicated and empathetic than I expect them to do. With I love Wanda. She's incredible in this first film debut. And she's physically goes through emotional trauma, what I like. And definitely use her powers in a way as the audience go with her on that emotional journey. Like Jess, about everything in the film that really packs a punch. Each new character is stringently cast, and the old school guard has never been better, being the OG cast. That includes RTJ as Tony Stark. We all love him. We've seen him before, and his evolution of Stark is even more intriguing moving forward in Phase 3. Of course, Liv Olsen is one of the best new character portrayals in recent years. I love the character London. I think she's incredible in this role, and hopefully we see her more in Phase 6. Definitely we want to see more Scarlet Witch in the future. Also, Jeremy Renner is finally giving Hawkeye maturity worthy of his abilities and worthy of the character itself, and as an actor as well. He truly does steal more than one scene. He has one of the best one-liners that is unmatchable. The cast did a fantastic job as well. I mean, literally, every one of them does a really great job. I mean, RDJ threw it down. Chris Evans there, shining in his well-acted portrayal as Captain America. Chris Evans, as always, at his very best as Thor. Scarlett Johansson is incredible. She's very badass and quite flirtatious as well. And Mark Ruffalo is amazing as Bruce Banner / Hulk in this film. And one of the last performance that I think he was great in. Now, just wrapping up and saying happy 10th anniversary, Age of Ultron. Overall, I think this movie runs a really great pace. I think 2.5 hours is pretty long, but they nailed a very cohesive film. I have to say, it could have been a little bit shorter, but overall, I didn't mind. With great action scenes. I mean, if you mentioned the opening action scene in which he introduced the Avengers in one mighty long take, it's incredible. Nice humor, a lot of cameos, a science finale that is brainless fun, but fun nevertheless. Less humor than expected, with Ultron teasing a internet character with his jokes, but then delving into a classic villain in the sea of special effects that fill most of the film. You get to know the Avengers more than as well as any other superhero films, which was nice. So, in a rating for this film, I definitely give it a 7 out of 10. Thank you everyone for joining this spectacular 10th anniversary review on Avengers Age of Ultron. There's going to be more reviews down the line, so check out that very soon. Thank you everyone for joining me, and have a good night. Bye and ciao.